Okay, so this last part is where we start dealing with hyperlinks, which means that we're going to actually start building our site. Believe it or not, we don't even have a single page built yet that is actually going to be part of the site. What we've pretty much done is created a template in which we're going to build our pages off of. And then we're also going to build our menu, and then we're going to build the corresponding pages. So exercise 4, click that, download it. So in this folder, what you're going to see is nothing that's actually going to be part of the website. So you can keep all of these documents separate. You are going, but I do want to talk a little bit about what you're going to see in here. Oh, this is the wrong one. Sorry, I panicked there for a second. This is the right one. You are going to see nothing but text files, but you are going to see an instructions file, which is actually an RTF file, and then a styles text. This is we're going to use the styles in here. I'm giving you some styles so that you don't actually have to create all of them. So open up the instructions file. Open the last file that dealt with layout. You'll be creating multiple web pages, so make sure that all save files are in the same folder and on the same level. Just very briefly, what it means is that when I look at my directory here, I have my images folder and I have my two HTML folders, the original one and the layout one. Now, everything else is going to go in that same directory in where the yogasangha.html is. Place the cursor in the article div before h3 style color thing and the image. Insert a div named nav. So that means that I go into here. I'm just going to hit return so my code looks a little nice. In fact, I'll create a little space there. And it says insert a div named nav. New CSS rule. And what it's going to be is padding 5 pixels, 1 pixel borders, 1 pixel solid border with this color. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the box area. Padding is 5 pixels and border. Now, when you say border, it says 1 pixel solid border with color. Don't forget that you have to fill out all 3 attributes. So style would be solid, 1 pixel, and then the color, which is that. Make sure that the same for all is checked because this is going to be a border that goes around the entire box. Click OK, and you should have something that looks like that. Now, create an unordered list with the following items. So I'm just going to copy these. I'm going to paste them inside here. Notice that all I get are break tags, so I don't want those break tags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in time and actually copy it here in the code, like that. Now what that's going to do is that's going to give me a straight line without any break tags. Now it did say, however, to create an unordered list, so I'm going to do that now by clicking on list items. So I've got a ULLI, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit return on all of these so I create all LIs. Now this may not look good to you right now, but there's a reason for this in just a minute. Select the word home and type a link to index.html. So I'm going to do that. Does index.html work? No, but what we have done is now is we've created a link style or a link attribute. I'm going to go ahead and follow directions on all of these to select each one of these and link it to the corresponding HTML page, which does not exist yet. Keep that in mind. These do not exist. We're creating the links first because when I do create the pages, I'm going to be creating it from this page, which will then have the correct links. This way you won't have inconsistency throughout on what page is links, because I can't tell you how many students have clicked from one link to another link and then found that another link doesn't work. And then they're all over the place, and then they have to go into X number of pages to edit. This way, you only have to do it once and you're done. So I'm going to pause for a second here while I do all of that. Okay, so at the end, now I did a quick copy paste job, and unfortunately I got all these extra spaces in there, which I don't need. But in the end, you should have something that looks like this: an LI, an A tag, and a link to index.html, about.html, community.html, training.html, teachers.html, and contact.html. We're going to make those pages in a few seconds, but first of all, we're going to create a style for these links. Create a compound style called nav.li. That means that any li inside a nav menu object, or ID nav, will have this style applied. Now, I generally like to click the object and then open up and let Dreamweaver create the compound for me, and then I'm just going to delete all the excess stuff that I don't need. So there's my nav li, and that is display equals inline. Now watch this little trick. Go to block, display inline. Inline display inline is a very useful style. Watch what happens. Boom. Now everything goes into one line. That's what display equals inline does when you do it to a list item. Create a compound style for nav ul. So same thing. Make sure your cursor is somewhere within the ul tag. Click new. And then I'm just going to go ahead and delete all the other IDs that I don't need. So there's my nav ul. Click OK. And that is margin 0 except for left margin minus 20. So I go to box, go to margin, I'm going to say 0, 0, 0, left margin minus 20. Click OK. And as you can see, that now closes up all that space. Create a compound style for nav A. So again, I'm going to click inside the A tag, get rid of my excess, like that. And that one is going to say padding left and right 10 pixels. So right 10 pixels, left 10 pixels, and border right 1 pixel solid. So I got to uncheck all of these. Border right solid 1 pixel, and the color is this. Click OK, and boom, there you go. Copy the text in styles.txt file and paste it in the head tag with the other styles. Okay, so now what that means is I go back to my folder here, and I'm going to open styles.txt. So I have this, and all I'm going to do, this is real simple, just see how much work you didn't have to do by creating all this, is I'm going to copy these styles and paste them inside my head area after the last style. Make sure you do it before this close style tag. Boom. And voila. Boy, all of a sudden you got all kinds of cool things just happening there. Sort of clean things up. It changed my contact title here like that. And it also changed my links to look exactly the way I wanted them to. A lot happened in that last step. Okay. Go to the Styles panel, Windows, CSS Styles, and choose the All tab. Select all styles using the Shift-click keyboard shortcut. Go to the panel menu and select Move CSS Rules. Now what this is all talking about is go here, take all your styles, Shift-click to select all your styles, right-click or control-click, or however you do to get your pop-out menu, Move CSS Rules, and I am going to select a new style sheet. This process creates an external style sheet, and I'm going to call it Styles, and it will automatically put in a .css. Click Save, and like magic, you now have no longer no styles in your file, but you do have a link, which is this little line right here, to a styles.css, which looks like this. There's all my styles. This sheet now controls all styles, and make sure you save that. That sheet controls all styles from here on out. So it will have a global relevance on all files. Having done that now, and having that style link, I can now start saving this page out as separate pages. Now save the original file and save file as index.html. This is going to be our home page. So I'm going to do File, Save As. I'm going to call it Index. And voila, my website now has, refresh this, a home page. And it has a home page with working links. The next thing you do is you delete all the article content in the article div. That's this stuff. Except for the navigation. You don't want to delete the navigation. So that means that I'm going to delete all of this. Now, don't delete the sidebar stuff. Just delete the stuff in the article. In fact, the easy way to do this is just select article and go into your code view here, and then take the end of that div. That's the easier way to do it, I think. And then go all the way up to where your navigation starts, or finishes right there. And delete that. And then we're going to take the about.text.txt right here, open that. Select all of it, copy it, go back into the same area here and paste it. By the way, you just noticed a little disaster there. What happened is I pasted between these two divs and you saw nastiness happen. You got to paste between these two divs. And remember, the article, the nav div, finishes there, and I have to paste this stuff after the nav. So hopefully you can take my mistake and learn from that. So this is what you should have. Now, this is called index, and this is the about page. So what I'm going to do is save this as about. And remember, I already have it linked, so it automatically goes to about.html. So you got to make sure the names are the same. Otherwise, you're going to have a broken link. But now, in one fell swoop, I've just created a home page and an about page. And of course, I have the links already set up on both pages. All right, I'm going to repeat this process while I pause the tape here. Actually, before I freeze the tape here, I'm going to just do this one more time so you see the process again. So I selected the article tag. I've already got on my clipboard the community text. And I'm going to go into my code view, and I'm going to then select all the way up to just before the nav, and I'm going to paste that on there. That now is the community, and then I'm just going to file save as community.html. One thing you want to really be careful is